Ministry of Finance has tabled several bills in Parliament, including those related to value-added tax and withholding tax, with the aim of imposing taxes on international telephone calls and digital businesses. One of the proposed tax measures is to impose a 5% tax on various online services, including advertising platforms, streaming platforms, subscription-based services, cab-hailing services, cloud storage, data warehousing, and other services that may be determined by the minister through statutory instruments.
Government believes that taxing digital services will generate revenue for the country and help level the playing field for local businesses.
All of us as Ugandans, we should look at it in good faith, that the intention is not to cripple these services, is not to make it difficult for Ugandans to communicate, to use these platforms, but it is also to allow those companies make a contribution to our economy, which money we shall use now into service delivery in the country.
However, there are concerns about how these taxes may impact consumers and businesses operating in the digital space.
Now, Parliament is planning to tax these companies in two ways. That's income tax and VAT. But also one thing that is in limbo is whether it's going to be a withholding or those companies are going to have to pay that tax by themselves. It's not very clear from the text on whether it's a withholding tax or the company is supposed to come and make that payment themselves.
Businesses and consumers alike are closely watching these proposed tax measures, as they could potentially impact the cost of using digital services in Uganda. Critics argue that these taxes could increase the cost of doing business, especially for small and medium-sized enterprises, and may ultimately be passed on to consumers.
In VAT, we already know that by 2018 we had something around the ends of taxing multinational corporations offering digital services. But what's happening this year is that scope is being widened and given more depth of clarity. And we still see the same players coming in, cab-hailing services, data digital content platforms, marketplace platforms, all being brought in to have a VAT tax. But remember, this tax is being visited on the non-resident. So it's not the Ugandan who's going to be paying that tax. Of course, basing on how they will price, you might end up paying a few more shillings for enjoying the service.
There are others also which have been providing services like Uber. In the past, we were not able to trace them and see how they can pay taxes, but all this has been worked out. Because you find you're a foreign-based company, you provide Uber services here in Uganda and in many other countries, but then you are not paying taxes, and yet you are doing business.
The move to tax digital services is not unique to Uganda. In neighboring Kenya, the government has already implemented a similar tax known as the Digital Service Tax, which has been levied on tech giants such as Google, Netflix, Meta, Twitter, and Microsoft. According to the Kenya Revenue Authority, they collected 174 million Kenyan shillings in digital service taxes in the 6 months leading to December 2022, equivalent to $1.6 million in digital service taxes in the 6 months leading up to December 2022. Wadulo Mark Arnold, UBC News in Kampala.